The United States presidential elections for 2020 have concluded and the people have shown confidence in Joe Biden by electing him by a clear win and a gigantic majority. Yet, Biden is not yet the president in office, despite being the president-elect. There still remains a constitutional procedure that will write the transfer of power in stone, and that is the voting of the electoral colleges. But recent developments considering all the local factors has made this procedure a bit too annoying, which is being expressed by electoral college voters from various states. The single most disrupting element this election year has been the supporters. Though the coronavirus pandemic has already escalated the level of difficulty and complexity regarding the execution of any public event, there seems to be no possible constraint to keep people from leaving their residencies and making protests in an increased number, adding to the liability of worsening of already out of control virus outbreak. Protesters are mainly gathered with the aim to somehow manage to disrupt the proceedings of the electoral vote casting that will finalize the election of the Joe Biden as the 46th American president. This is although an already failed attempt at sabotaging the election that has been steered clearly by Mr. Biden, but it still presents a major threat as regards to the safety and security of the officials that will be present to perform their duties. It is also noteworthy that this danger pertains to only the states that had been won over by President Biden, whereas we see no such chaos and clamor in the Trump majority colleges. An increased security has been promised to the Democratic electors in Michigan in the form transportation via the state police from their cars to the Capitol, whereas the college vote has been arranged at a destination that has not been disclosed in order to ensure maximum safety of all the involved personnel. But the step indeed has drawn attention, as objections are being made regarding the clarity and transparency of the constitutional proceedings. To avoid such claims at the honesty of the process, many states have offered to broadcast the whole vote casting ceremony via live stream on the internet. Security protocol also prompted Delaware Electoral College voting to shift to a gymnasium, keeping in view both the official security and the public health safety. Voting for an electoral college has been a very dignifying act, in addition to being a harbinger of possible power and influence, since the college voters get to be a part of the bureaucratic skeleton, hence playing a large part in the establishment and enaction of major decisions which go on to shape the everyday lives of the commons. The college voting has not presented itself as the headache it's subject to the current elections, but the massive and long-running drama that entailed the 2020 elections, with Trump making accusations regarding the authenticity of the elections and raising objections upon the polling procedures, and also going to court with these packages of allegations, only for the court to turn down each and every one of the allegations owing to the lack of evidence and weakness of corroborative authenticity wherever available. Now, the ex-president has sought to adopt the public protests as a last resort after all prior attempts failing to prove useful towards his campaign in any way. But the underlying problem seems to be, not the approach of the defeated contestants, rather the effect all the stories concocted by Trump is having upon his followers and voters. It appears that the Republican supporters have turned a blind eye to the facts being presented by media and are heeding to every word and command that Donald Trump is announcing unto them. This may lead to a critical situation of protest where the protesters may resort to violence, as we saw once on Saturday, where a rally went for savagery at the meeting of posters containing pro and anti slogans. Monday will be the day of reckoning for the United States politics for the next elections, since all the 538 members of various electoral colleges will mark the declaration of Joe Biden as the president-elect of the states and uproot all tactics of the Republicans' officials and voters alike. But until then, all possible safety measures are being taken by the government to ensure the safety as well as the integrity of the process. The Electoral College voters commented on the ongoing state of protests and expressed their reservations and fears as the day of the deed draws closer. "This is some scary stuff, man, and this is not what America is supposed to be like," said the Khary Pennebaker, a Democrat of Wisconsin, a voter to be of Mr. Biden on Monday. "You watch the Batman movie and you see how he jumps through the waterfall to get to the Batcave, it's like that." He further added. Ms. Arnold, another elected member from Columbus, says that the support from her state has been exciting. "If people want to give me pushback, let them," she said. "I'm certainly not going to let anybody try to push me around. I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing." Van R. Johnson, the mayor of Savannah, said that he had also received an increased security arrangement, but that did not result from a particular threat, rather the whole climate in which the voting was taking place called for it. "It's a crazy time," he added, "and we don't know what those people will do." Nonetheless, he was exhilarated and humbled to be able to play a role in the election as a Democrat, and not just any Democrat, the first one in his state in the past 30 years or so. In all entirety, the activity to take place Monday morning is not more than a mere hour, from the arrival of the elected, to the vote casting, to the counting, to the certification of Biden as the president-elect, and yet such catastrophe is being wreaked for a lost cause. Since Biden has such an outrageous majority, there is no way the Republicans can benefit from the traditional upper hand, as was the case with the last two Republican-elected presidents, George W. Bush and Donald J. Trump. As was the case in previous elections, a Republican candidate had chances of winning even when the majority vote was for the opponent, since the electoral college system gives the Republican states more majority and representation in the election of the president. But that doesn't seem to be the case this time around. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you liked it, like, comment if you haven't already. Meet you with the new video.